Alright. Hello and welcome to a brand new show from the Capes and Lunatics, because we don't have enough of them. This is Who Podcasts The Watchmen with me, Phil, and with me is
Tyler, the great night owl himself.
I thought it was going to be Night Owl, but anyway.
That's why I took it. You get to be Rorschach.
But yeah, we wanted to get together and talk Watchmen. We're going to start with all the Before the Watchmen stuff, and then by the time we get to the movie and the original series, hopefully we get Lilith and maybe Charlie in here. Hopefully, if we do an issue a week and then the original series and the movie, that'll take us until next year when the series comes out on HBO.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun to even do Doomsday Clock once all 12 issues.
Oh, yeah. Doomsday Clock, too, yes.
Because it is supposed to be an exact follow-up to Watchmen, and so far it has been. So,
because I was going to say, we'll review an old issue, and then if there's any news, like right now, I guess, like you mentioned Doomsday Clock. Did you see now instead of like every month, it's coming out like every other month?
Yeah, because I guess they were going to take like a couple months off, and I'm like, man, all I know is one day when I get to write a comic or something, like I want to have like 4 issues done, written, drawn before we even like start selling issue 1.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Like last week, I talked to Mark Waid. Tim and like 2 other guys are writing Avengers, and like there used to be like 3 separate Avengers series. Now there's just one, and they're doing it every week. But he's like, by the time the first issue hit the stands, they had most of them done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I hate. Like, I get that Jeff Johns is busy, but like, isn't it already all written? And like the art, I guess.
And I think that's what slows it down is the art. I mean, not slow it down, but that's what takes the longest is the art.
And I mean, I get that, but like for an event like this that they've been talking about
they've been planning this for a while.
I mean, come on, Rebirth started almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I right? Like, Rebirth started in 2016, didn't it?
I think so. Yeah. Get it together, Jeff Johns.
Because we're on like what, Superman 40? So
yeah.
So it's been over a year. I mean, But anyways, we're not talking that. We're gonna do the Watchmen series, the book into the movie, and everything. Phil said, preparing for the new TV series. We're just going to take our time and enjoy the material and really digest it. And if you look closely at your screen, you'll see the Watchmen comic book behind Phil's shoulder.
Oh, yes.
And so what we're doing right now is we found Phil's going to share this website when he gets a chance, the website that we found that shows the order to read the Watchmen books in.
Okay, if I remember where it's at, but
I think I have the link somewhere in my notes too.
I was going to say, do you want to do the exact order, or do we just want to do a mini series at a time? Like we're doing Minutemen now. Do you just want to do all 6 Minutemen and then go on to another one, do every issue of that?
That's fine.
It might be easier for people instead of jumping around back and forth.
So we're gonna start with the Minutemen. And I always thought, like, in Watchmen period, like I always thought the Minutemen was interesting because they're always referenced back to.
Mm-hmm.
You never really see their adventures. You experience them because you had the Minutemen, then the attempted crime busters,
mm-hmm.
then the Watchmen. And I always thought it was just kind of interesting how that all played out. And the Minutemen was like looking at, if you want to make your comparison, that's your Justice Society type people.
I mean, I'm never like big on prequels, but I think, I don't know, these were like, they're kind of prequels, but it's like that original Watchmen miniseries was like the end of the story. It's like,
Yeah, it's like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to when we get to the Dr. Manhattan ones.
Yes.
Because I think they're written beautifully, and like it takes your mind and you're just like
And when we get there, we can look for clues for Doomsday Clock.
And when we get there, we can do LSD. We're like Dr. Manhattan, bro. Not just playing. We don't do it.
Look at him wearing a blue shirt. He's trying to be Dr. Manhattan.
Well, I was thinking about cosplaying as Dr. Manhattan, but then I got thinking, like, I don't really want to shave my head.
Well, I was going to say, save that for your wife. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
And just be like...
Just keep your pants on.
Or my black diaper. But, all right, let's get into this. So we're doing Minutemen
number one.
Written and illustrated by the late Darwin Cook. And I think his art is perfect for this.
Yes. It's got that old-timey like pulp feel, and
yeah, I mean, it just seems like the kind of, it just fits so great with the time. And Darwin Cook, most famously probably known for Justice League New Frontier.
Yes.
So if anyone's out there thinking about that. So yeah, we'll start off the book when it starts is being narrated by an older Hollis Mason.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be Hollis Mason probably shortly after he quits being Night Owl, when he first retires from being Night Owl, because his book hasn't been published yet, The Under the Hood. We get him sitting in his room and he's talking to his publisher. They're talking about things, and then you got about 3 pages of that till it cuts to kind of the flashback, and we see that great picture of all the Minutemen standing together.
Yeah, right up there.
Boom.
That's why you should subscribe to us on YouTube. You can see it all.
Yeah, like, just, referencing back to the movie, if people have seen it, like, if you think about it, like, that scene, that picture shot was greatly recreated.
But I mean, yeah, this is the type of story, like I was saying, you need a prequel for, because, in the movie and the original miniseries, it's like, they show all these heroes or they call them out. It's like, who's that? Who's that?
Yeah, I mean, all the original heroes are just like referenced back to. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I will say, as we go through this, I have not read all of the Watchmen prequels, so I am excited to kind of do them all.
Nice.
I've read Night Owl multiple times. I think his is well done, and like I said, I really like the Dr. Manhattan one. And we'll get there. So, Chapter 1, 8 minutes, set in 1939.
Do you think that's intentional? 1939 is like because we get Hooded Justice? Are they making like an analogy of Batman? And
oh yeah, I mean, even like looking at this scene, like, doesn't this just scream Batman 89 to you? Like the scaffolding, the hood, the way he drops in, the way they have him walking.
Oh yeah, or even just like the chemical plant. The Joker's about to get dropped in the chemical vat, or pee himself, as we see here.
And if I remember, Hooded Justice was the first like official kind of mask that kind of started it all.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found most interesting is this is when you get to taking advantage of our YouTubeisms. Sally Jupiter, and really how it was just marketing.
Oh yeah,
I love the Sally Jupiter part where it says basically that they would where is it? Hold on.
Like her and the husband taking advantage
out of work actors, and you could throw a mask on them, give them a catchy name, say like the Red Devil. You could stage a fake robbery and have your heroine foil it in a grand fashion. So all her work was basically just staged publicity, imagery, and then, of course, we know that Hollis Mason that we see next, we have this great shot of him in his cop outfit running down an alley while it's snowing, ditching the cop outfit and going into his Night Owl suit. And his Night Owl costume kind of reminds me of like a Robin. Like,
yeah, it's really weird because it's like, why? I mean, trying to remember if he says why he picked the owl, because it's like he doesn't have wings, he doesn't even have any kind of flying vehicle like the next Night Owl would have.
Yeah, it is interesting that that's what he chooses.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, it's just funny because Night Owl looks very much like a more, well, more Batman-esque. Um, and this Night Owl looks more Robin-esque.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
we're
because like,
seeing,
I mean, the back of his head's covered, but you see most of his face. Yeah.
we're seeing his adventure. We're seeing him save, people, and it's great. And then we get to, and I think you forget this, that when the comedian first shows up, he's like 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see the young comedian, and I don't know about you, but like I really chuckled looking at this and the fact that right now Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who played the comedian in the film, is
Mm-hmm.
most now famously known for being Negan on The Walking Dead. And here we see young uh, Eddie
Edward
Blake
Blake. Yeah.
holding a baseball bat, and that's like his weapon of choice.
It just like the costume, like this costume here, and it reminds me of Bucky. So just imagine like a young Jeffrey Dean Morgan dressed up like Bucky.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he like beats all these people up in this bar, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and then like scares the bar owner to death and robs him after saving him.
And then the bartender like asks him like, "What's wrong with you?" And he says, "My caseworker says I have moments of uncontrolled rage brought on by traumatic events in my childhood."
So yeah, he's like it's later quoted, he's a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary when you think about it. Like, comedian's a very scary character, so that would be Charlie. Or Lilith. If she's watching or listening, I could see you as the comedian at times. I'm probably going to get beat up in my sleep. But I thought this was interesting when they talked about in the next part with the moth, where it talked about like what it took to be able to fly and glide and excuse me. And like he was scared of his own creation. Like it shows him drinking before he takes off for his first flight. And what's funny is as I'm sitting here looking at this, it reminds me of the opening scene to Kick-Ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's narrating and the guy's standing on top and he goes to take off and he just like falls flat in the car. And I like how this is like little just things about each character. Like next it's Dollar Bill, who looks like just a bank mascot that got blown out of proportion.
Well, like I'm trying to remember. I don't know if he was much more than that because, like, I think Hollis even says, like most of us, I met Dollar Bill at the movies.
Yeah,
he's like that mascot character they tried to make Captain America in the first Avenger movie.
Yeah, basically, yeah. He's selling war bonds.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one I find most interesting. Is the silhouette.
Oh yeah.
Like this is. I think this is really deep, and this really speaks to her character.
See,
you just
this would be your Lilith Hellfire because she wouldn't be afraid to break a guy's face.
It's true, and like you see her going after this carpet roll, and you're like, why is she stopping? And like they're smuggling kids in it, and I think that's like that just like hits you hard because you're like, wow, that's some serious stuff.
And I know you're listening to this, Lilith, eventually, and you know it's true. If you were a costume hero, you would break a guy's face. You know it.
Oh, she would. Probably more than his face.
Oh my.
Arms, legs, whatever.
Whatever it takes.
We wouldn't walk very well.
But then it's weird, like she doesn't wear a mask. I mean, she has a hat, but no mask.
And then we get Captain Metropolis. I find him interesting just because he just seems like he's the goody-goody. But once again, he wants to form this team.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about how he got the base where they're going to form out of operation, bought it from Canada because it was a factory plant that went out of business before it was finished. And he's rich. He has a manservant. He was in the military, and so it just, that's interesting.
I mean, at this point right here, he almost seems like if Bruce Wayne really was the Batman persona, if Batman was really the Bruce Wayne persona, that's what it would be.
Yeah, basically. And I think it's interesting, like, this is where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't bookend back to Hollis Mason, like, and take us out. Like, it ends with just Captain Metropolis chilling in the tub, smoking a cigar.
They're building that, that like that early world, and get a glimpse of a bunch, most of the characters, and
then we start issue number 2.
Oh, wait a second. You have the trade. Do you have the Curse of the Crimson Corsair shorts in there, or no?
No. And I'm betting. Hold on, I'm gonna look in the back of this.
I wonder if they collected them all in one.
I'm betting it's all collected in one.
Because
let's hold off on those and let me do some quick.
That's fine. I don't care if we get to those, because even with the original series and with these, like, the pirate stuff really didn't do much for me.
I get it, but I mean, it's the same.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like, metaphors and the stuff for the story, but like, I'm here for superheroes. I'm not here to like read pirates. One of my kid reading comics in the 50s. I ain't reading pirates.
Yeah. So I have the trade, and then it's Minutemen number 2. Go ahead, Phil. You lead this one. I'll kind of lead the first.
Oh, wait a second. No. We're gonna do that as a whole separate episode. So.
Oh.
Yeah. No. I told you we're doing one issue at a time. So let's cut this off here. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll be back. If you're listening on the podcast, you'll get episode 2 next week. If you want to read along with us, like we said, we're going to do the whole Minuteman miniseries first, then we'll jump to another one. Any comments, reviews about the book, about us, what would you like to hear? Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter @capeslunatics, and our voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-capes. And Tyler, where can people talk to you?
You can talk to me at jtypatrick@gmail or on Twitter. You can also find me on the Krypton Report, where we talk all things Superman, Supergirl, and Krypton.
Oh man, I forgot. I wanted to start with a tagline and finish with a tagline. I guess I can finish with the tagline.
Finish with it. You can always re-edit it.
Yeah, or I could just stay tuned for episode 2 and I'll do the tagline. But all right. Well, until next, if you're listening to the podcast, until next week, remember, who watches The Watchmen? We watch The Watchmen, so you don't have to. Good night, and what's like a 1939 thing? Good night and good luck, Mr. and Mrs. America.